Hello and welcome, guys. We are here to share not so pleasant news, but an interesting one with respect to teachers as well as students because ICSI has launched new syllabus 2022. PDF of respective subjects are available on lecturecard.com. The link is in the description because I know students are asking for it. Where is the link? You can't find it. It's in the description. Go ahead, you can download the new modules. One more thing, if you are registering after 31st of January 2023, you are mandatorily inside the new syllabus 2022. And the ones who were in the old syllabus, you might get a migration option to shift to the new one. But what is new syllabus? Here we are starting with company law. And trust me, this will be a dangerous one. You can see the smile on CS Medhase Purohit sir, the mentor, the master of company law. He's smiling because that smile contains a lot of passion as a teacher for students to learn, as well as a lot of sorrow for you guys, and we'll be explaining you why. So over to Midhas sir.
No, actually, before we move on to the analysis, I must say that I've gone through the syllabus and I see that there is a lot of editing done or it has been trimmed down when it comes to company law. So I take up two subjects, company law and setting up of business entities. So these two subjects have been trimmed down and they are trimmed good. So without wasting any further time, I'll just show the module. So this is the new module and it says company law and practice. So I'll be just comparing the index part so that even the viewers, they know that in order to get more details, more insights, I would suggest go and download the module so that you can compare each and everything topic wise. But I'll try and give you a brief about these subjects. So let me compare it with the old syllabus module as well. If we see the old syllabus module, it said only company law. So first let's just pause there and just see what the ICSI is expecting or wanting to do here. So now they've changed the subject from company law to company law and practice. That means they want to include this part of procedural and practice law of company law, right? Further, if you if you know the old syllabus, if you are familiar with the old syllabus, you all guys know that it was divided in three parts, right? Part 1, which was company law principles and concepts, that was for 50 marks, which covered certain chapters like introduction to company law and then straight away jump to share capital. And the middle part that was missing, that was the incorporation of companies, the basics about companies, and then the charter documents and the incorporation procedural part, that was covered in SBEC. So that portion was moved from company law to SBEC. The mindset was that when you are reading SBEC or setting up of business entities, you must know the registration procedure of company. That made sense, but it did not make sense to remove it from the company law portion. When I see that chapter, when I see that change, just let me show you the new syllabus. In the new syllabus, rather than three different parts, you have only two parts. The first part again remains the same, company law practice and concepts, principles and concepts, sorry. And it is for 60 marks now. When you see the first chapter, it is again introduction to company law. But from the second chapter, the story changes. Now you have legal status and types of registered companies, memorandum, article of association, everything that the part in order to understand how a company comes into existence, what are the elements that are important at the time of incorporation, that have been included in this part itself.
Feel like this was the link that was stopping students from understanding the share capital.
Yes, and as a teacher, I have experienced this, that it creates a disruption while teaching as well, because I in my classes as well, I had to shift from company law. I had to take certain 4 to 5 lectures of company law to cover the basics, and then switch on to SBEC, because I thought that that flow is perfect, because when you are reading about company, you should also know about how to incorporate a company, what are the charter documents, how they are important. So it's a good thing that now it has been included in the main portion itself. Has this made any changes in the SBEC part? we'll come to that at a later
I
stage.
think, sir, SBEC itself had transformed from SBEC to now
Yeah,
industrial
we'll come to
law
that.
also.
Don't steal
Acha.
my thunder.
Acha. Got it.
So now you have 50 marks. So the earlier module, as I was saying, had three parts. Part 1 was company law principle and concepts, which was for 50 marks. Second part being company administration and meetings, which was again for 40 marks, which covered the law and practices portion. So it was there before as well, but they have emphasized it in the module name itself now, that it will be now company law and practice. So it was a 40-mark portion which covered topics from board to directors to appointment and remuneration of key managerial personnel, general meetings, virtual meetings, etc. etc. But then there was a third portion, which was company secretary as a profession. This was the annoying portion for the students, because there was no substantial law or conceptual based topics in this particular area. And also this particular topic, when I did my company secretary course, it was covered in the ethics, business ethics area, and which makes sense, because under that business ethics you have to study how you will be governed by this law of company secretaries, and how you should portray yourself to the society as a company secretary.
Still is covered again in the professional program as well.
Yes, yes, yes. They have again included the same in the professional program. So I guess that is a good change, which again brings a joy to the students. आप लोगों के लिए अच्छी खबर, because this 10-mark portion is now being removed. Right?
The Achi cover comes with a coffin image and the coffin meme get
Yes, yes. So earlier again, one bigger change that we can see is, you can see that there are 23 different chapters when it comes to old module, including the third part. As compared to this, if you see the new portion, it is only 19 chapters. That's it. No more than 19 chapters. So you have 4 less chapters. That means again a joyous moment for you guys, because as professionals, as we seek omissions of section from a particular act, students seek omission of certain chapters. So it's a good thing now it is only 19 chapters. Again, it ends on the key managerial personnel area.
So how does this come up that new chapters were added and still it is 19?
Now that is what the government does with you. That is how ICSI screws you, because you'll only see the number of chapters, but when you focus on number of pages in the module, I think it still remains the same. It is somewhere near about 1000 pages, and 1000 pages that creates a substantial portion of your preparation. Not just this module, थोड़ा सा एक बोलते हैं ना क्लाइमैक्स बस्टर, कि all the modules you can see a gain in number of pages. So the basic change that they did in company law or the CS executive new syllabus was they removed the objective subjects, and they have made those subjects subjective, which for some students it may be a good thing, but for majority of students it is a bad thing, because they will have to write.
Majority here is 99.99%.
Yes, coming back to the topic. So company law, you can see that company law principles and concepts, 60-mark portion, introduction to company law, legal status, types and types of registered companies, then memorandum, and then again you have the same chapter links, that is share and share capital, members and shareholders, debentures, etc. It ends up to key managerial personnel and their remuneration. So it used to end on meetings earlier, but now they have included, or they have reshuffled those chapters to get key managerial personnel being the last chapter. That is where your company law syllabus will end. So it is a good thing that they have not included, yet not included winding up proceedings in this particular area. When you compare it with the old syllabus, the winding up portion or the strike off portion, if you remember, was there in SBEC. So with that in mind, let's move on to the next module, that is SBEC, which the students want to know. First, let me show you
Sir,
some
sir,
Wait, one
I-
question I have.
I'll just stop you.
yeah.
Actually, before the question comes up and before we move ahead, let's just give this to the students. And if you were here till this video or this part of the video, let me give you a good reason to cry. A very good reason to cry. When the name changed company law to company law in practice, it has brought a change for case studies.
Yeah.
And when I talk about case studies, there were already 500, or I think, I don't even know the number, sir might tell you better. But those
No,
number of
even
case
I don't
studies.
remember the number of case studies.
But there were
There
n
are a
number
lot.
of case
There are
studies.
a lot. There are
They
a
were
lot.
very,
The
very
writing
many.
pattern of it will change, but most importantly, I'll just want to highlight the subjects that company law is going to impact. So let's just count with me. How many subjects are there in ICSI new syllabus 2022? 7. How many of them are impacted by company law? 4.
Yes.
That
And-
is what will make you cry, because it is now Bhagavad Gita. Not a single word can go in vain, because let's just call out the subjects that will have company law and company law impacting it. Company law in practice, setting up of business, industrial and labor laws, corporate accounting and financial management. You might ask me, sir, corporate accounting, check the module, you will understand, or you can watch our video here. Capital market and securities laws, and economic, commercial, and intellectual property laws. All of them will have some or the other way company law relating to it. But why will that happen, sir? CS executive December attempt paper. Please go through it and check it. I think sir will show some light on that. Sir,
Yeah. So we have seen in the last exam and the past exams, I would say, not just the last exam, but the past exams, we have seen that a lot many subjects, although they are named different, the concept that is required to study that particular area is different. But still, ICSI through its drafting of papers has made it very clear that they want thorough knowledge on company law. If you are not thorough with this particular subject, if you are not spending enough time for the preparation of this subject, if you are not getting a conceptual clarity of this particular subject, all your other subjects will definitely be impacted. So you cannot deny that fact. And I think this makes it clear that yes, this particular subject, ICSI wants you to study as if it is your bread and butter.
So I have two scary thoughts here. The first is that in the the circular that was issued by ICSI, in which they were declaring the new syllabus, they made it very clear that they were going to ask a lot of case study based questions in the new paper,
I actually have that
especially of company law.
over here. I have opened it up. I'll just read and quote the exact lines. ICSI syllabus 2022 aims to inculcate principles, laws, interpretation at executive level. In this regard, the grouping of papers under Group 1 of the executive program has been done keeping in view the critical aspects of ease of learning, balancing of theoretical, legal, and practical papers, and strengthening of fundamental concepts having relevance in the paper covered under subsequent Group 2. After which they have specifically said, in the new syllabus, if you want to attempt a paper or a group, you can only go from group 1 to group 2. The
Yes.
people who used to advise or people who used to go in a way ki sir group 2 pehle denge, will attempt group 2 and then we'll go for group 1. You are done. There is only one way now. It's a one way street. Group 1, then group 2.
First of all, let me just say that even if a student is clearing only group 2 and is not able to clear group 1, it still is nothing but a short boost of confidence that he has cleared something in the executive syllabus. So ICSI with this statement wants to make it very clear that you are not CS executive pass unless and until you clear both your modules. You can never say that you are cleared in one module, second module. I used to have trainees, I used to have students coming up to me and they used to say, sir, second module clear ho gaya. I would say, what about first module? How much you are scoring in first module? सबका एक ही दर्द कंपनी लॉ सर 15 मार्क्स मिले सर 20 मार्क्स मिले आई डोंट I mean, this is very sad on the part of the students and even on the part of some of the faculties who demean this particular subject by coming up with tips and tricks. This is not something that is studied through tips and tricks. This requires thorough knowledge. It requires research level study material. So the study material is important. Again, the conceptual clarity of the case studies is important. How to attempt, how to write your answers. All these aspects combined will ensure your success in this particular area. So company law being one of those subjects which the ICSI wants you to give complete importance and attention. I think the student should understand this and pay attention likewise. So let me just show you the designing part. So edit तो हुआ है edit तो there is a change. Yes, there is a change. Design change हो गया है. इटैलिक यस, आइटलिक्स को बोल्ड, फॉन्ट थोड़ा चेंज किया है मॉड्यूल का. उसके अलावा नीचे कुछ चीजें जैसे ये मेरे बुक में ही था पहले. टाइमलाइन पहले दी नहीं गई थी आईसीएसआई मॉड्यूल में. मेरे बुक में टाइमलाइन थी, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट वर्जन में टाइमलाइन इंक्लूड करी गई. बट एनीवेज दिस इज वेरी हेल्पफुल फॉर स्टूडेंट्स हु वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड द हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड. मैं बस चैप्टर 1 थोड़ा आपको दिखा रहा हूँ. तो ये कुछ कुछ आपको इसकी एरियाज और कुछ कुछ टॉपिक्स आपको पुराने मॉड्यूल में भी दिख जाएंगे. इवन इफ यू हैव योर ओल्ड मॉड्यूल, दैट्स ओके. You can compare your old module with the new module, because the content part, it has not changed that much, because the chapters remain the same, the law remains the same, only they have updated the chapters with the recent amendments. So the case study part कहीं पर कमी नहीं आई है. They have quoted case studies as it is. जैसा पहले आपको दिखता था, तो ये ऐसा ब्लॉक आपको बना हुआ दिखता था जिसमें आप केस लॉ दिखता था, इंपॉर्टेंट केस स्टडी. There's a pattern to study these kind of cases. The ICSI is not asking you to remember the cases, name of the parties, but they sure want you to remember the judgment that was passed by the court, so that it makes your interpretation area very clear.
So, to make that very short and crisp for you guys, if you already had the company law compiler, you are more than sufficiently prepared for your exam. If you did not have it, you're gonna be actually stuck, because you'll have to go through all of this no matter whether you like it or not. The compiler makes your life easy.
There's
You
no
want to check that
escaping-
out? Again, the link you can click over here and you'll be taken there.
There's no escaping case laws this time.
So,
Because I feel like the procedural questions are going to be asked in other papers other than company law, and this is going to be completely focused on case laws.
yes.
So with this in mind, I think you got an idea how the company law portion has changed or is changed. But let's move on to the next subject, that is again my subject, and it is a very interesting subject. It was not there when I was I was preparing for my company secretary, but it was included later on, and I feel it is very important for the students to understand how a company or a business is set up. So different areas where a businessman wants a professional's advice, you can get it through this particular module, which was earlier called as SBEC, which straight away said setting up of business entities and closure. And closure, that word was important, because there was a portion, part 3 of this particular module, which particularly dealt with the closure or winding up of companies. The insolvency and bankruptcy code, that was a separate act altogether, which the students had to study when they were preparing for SBEC. But now the subject's name, इसका थोड़ा रूप रंग चेंज हो गया है, and the subject's new name is setting up of business, that's it, comma, industrial and labor laws. Again, read it like a law, take a pause where there's a comma, क्योंकि इससे हमको समझ में आता है कि इस सब्जेक्ट में अब आपको दिखेंगे दो पार्ट्स. यू विल सी टू डिफरेंट पार्ट्स. Part 1 again will deal with the setting up of business entities area, which is 60 marks portion, similar to what you had in your earlier module, setting up of business entities and closure. Next, you will also see industrial and labor laws, but the industrial and labor laws conceptual part, I think they have grown that the portion or the area of these labor laws, which is now asked for 40 marks portion. So they have constitution and it has constitution and labor laws, evaluation of labor legislation and need for labor code. So they want you to be prepared. They want you to be prepared for the new upcoming code that is there for the labor law. And they want you to be prepared that yes, this act will be changing and how it is going to impact you. Next, you can see the total number of chapters that you have now is only 20, ending with the sexual harassment of women at workplace, that is also POSH. So they have ended it on POSH. That means If I compare it with the earlier portion, you had insolvency, winding up and closure of business, which was for 25 marks, has been removed. Total number of chapters were 21. As compared to that, you have 20 chapters in the new module. Again, what do you think as a student, or as you have studied this particular area in the recent, what do you think?
So two things in mind. First thing, totally practical. There. Second, they really want setting up of business enterprises to contain those laws which were somewhat shifted to EBCL
Yes.
in the last system.
Yes.
But this gives me a feeling. Chapters are closing, but number
Yes.
of pages are same. It is making it more practical. Labor's code is here, so I'm pretty
Yes.
sure securities code might also come up. But
Definitely.
what comes down to the passing percentage now? Because I feel the paper has gone difficult.
It will reduce 100% because
I mean, I think the passing percentage, sure, it does matters, but students who are well prepared, well versed with the syllabus, for them as a student, when I was preparing, if I was prepared well, the passing percentage would not matter. But considering today's scenario, how the students study, the approach that they have towards this particular course, I am sure what you say is correct. The passing percentage will drop.
the 25 marks portion, that was the closure part, that was a very simple portion because you had to learn only
Predictable
these
one.
yeah, it was a very predictable
Predictable
portion, and they could not play around with it too much because it was completely procedural. So you had to read around 40 pages for 25 marks, and they were guaranteed marks if you were a
Yes,
person who
well-versed.
was able to remember a lot of
Yes.
information in a legal language.
Yes.
So I feel like this has
The 25 marks portion, that was the closure of business entities, it had dormant companies, it had winding up proceedings, which was very basic in nature. So students used to prepare that 25% portion and leave almost 30% of the syllabus, stating that sir यहाँ पे तो PAN card निकालना सिखा रहे, GST निकालना सिखा रहे, which was the basic idea behind this particular subject, that you should know how to apply for PAN card, how to apply for GST. So now they want you to particularly focus in that area. Don't leave that portion. Don't leave it as if there is a way out or an exit plan from for this subject.
Every now and then we have seen in the notification and with the discussion with the different colleagues and teachers also, they have said students have passed with 40 to 50 range.
Yes.
Company law and SBC,
Yes.
40 to 50 range, they
Yes.
used to go in that mode itself. JIGL and somewhere else they would like to score up that, okay, tax laws used to be the scoring part because of objective nature.
paper.
Now what is going to happen to those students who used to be in the range of 40 to 50?
I think that range is going to drop somewhere near 30 35, because the kind of preparation that the student showed uh, towards the subject and the selective reading of the subject, what the students did, is going to impact a lot. If the student, again, I tell each and every student of mine, there is no shortcut. कोई 70 मार्क्स अबव स्कोर करने की स्ट्रैटेजी हर बार काम नहीं करती. The strategy will not work for you, because ICSI इतना आसानी से, इतने easily they won't allow you to pass CS executive. They want to control that flow, the crowd that moves towards CS professional, because CSET gave a lot of traction. There were a lot of students that got enrolled into CS executive, but then dramatically the passing percentage in CS executive used to fall. So they want to make it very clear through this particular syllabus that they are ready to give you questions from anywhere from the module. So always a best strategy, a good strategy is 100% coverage of the syllabus.
Sir, there are faculties who have claimed scanner preparation is the best preparation. And they have
God
said it
bless
on the national stage.
God bless them and their students.
I think that seems like a very good place to end that. God bless to those who are finding shortcuts. The only way to cross company law is perseverance, consistency, and taking up the right sources. So, module being your Bhagavad Gita, compiler being your Krishna Bhagwan, that is the only way you can move forward. I think this was an informative one. There will be more detailed videos coming up in the future. I would ask everyone to do just one thing. Please make sure you like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel, because there will be more analysis coming up for different subjects which you will find here itself. This is where CS, or company secretary as a profession, changes. We are standing on the paradigm shift. Now, either you are that person who goes with that flow, or you are that person who's going to keep on looking for various videos for tips and tricks and try to understand that this is the way I'm going to cross the exam. So, God bless you guys. Make sure you are stay tuned. Tata, bye bye, Shabba Khair.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye bye.